to the Jameson Brandon channel, the channel where we talk about all things money. Today, I want to cover and come back to the topic of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs for short. There's been a lot of development going on there, a lot of research, a lot of piloting, testing, etc. So we're going to start at the top and kind of move into some specific countries. We're going to highlight the very first essentially state-backed digital currency that was launched. We're going to give you a China update, and then we're going to end it with some headline hunting in terms of some updates on things like the Facebook DM coin and some other projects as well. So buckle up, let's jump in and go ahead and get started now. This Atlantic Council has a CBDC tracker. It's pretty cool. And so what it highlights is countries that have no development, research, they're piloting, development is started, inactive, canceled, or ones that have launched. I will say, don't think this is 100% accurate in terms of like countries that have launched, but it was just updated in April. It doesn't have like the last month or so. And again, it might not be fully up to date. I don't know how often they update it, but I will tell you that it's pretty close. Okay, so research, it means established working groups to explore the use, impact, feasibility. Okay, development. Initiated technical build and early testing of CBDC in controlled environments. Controlled environments, that's kind of a weird way to put it. Pilot is initiated, small-scale testing. Launched, is fully issued a CBDC for widespread retail or wholesale use. Canceled, means it was decommissioned, not doing it anymore. Retail means the CBDC is available to the general public and for all transactions. And wholesale means that it's used for financial institutions and intra-bank institutions. Give you a good overview of it here. There's quite a bit of blue and orange and yellow, which if we go back down here, we have 28 countries in research, we have 19 countries piloting, and 14 countries supposedly in development. We have 10 countries inactive, 1 launched, and what do we got here? 3 canceled. Let's go and cross-reference that data with some BIS data that I found. So according to the BIS, an internal research study that they did, they found that 86% of central banks they asked are actively researching CBDCs. So a little different there. 60% are experimenting and 14% are deploying pilot programs right now. So here's a quick look at the different models of the CBDCs and how that could really work, right? We have an indirect CBDC, which is, it's indirectly issued by the central bank, and the indirect CBDC represents a claim on the intermediary. Intermediaries handle retail payments, the central bank wholesale payments. Okay, then we have a direct, which is essentially the CBDC acts as a claim. Real-time records and balances are kept. It's direct between the central bank and the person or the merchant. And then the hybrid would be a direct claim on the central bank is combined with private sector messaging layer. So this payment service provider, everything runs through that. We've seen this as layer 1s, often referenced as layer 2s as well in the cryptocurrency space. Okay, so now let's go and highlight the very first state-backed digital currency. And it really wasn't a digital currency per se, it was a collectible coin, but that was Lithuania launched the LB coin July 9th, 2020, dubbed LB coins. Okay, on the day that this all kicked off and launched, this was the statement that they made. The project is more of an experiment rather than the official launch of a tradable currency. 24,000 digital LB coins will go on pre-sale this week, sold in packs of 6 for 99 euros each. Each token will feature a portrait of one of the 20 signatures of Lithuania's Declaration of Independence signed in 1918, which have been divided into 6 categories: priests, presidents, diplomats, industrialists, academics, and municipal servants. Collectors will be able to exchange tokens, then exchange a specific set, a token from each of the 6 categories for a physical silver coin worth 19 euros 18 cents. They can store them at the LB Coin eShop, send it as a gift, swap with other collectors, or transfer to a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency wallet. The Bank of Lithuania explained that their use as a means of payment will not be encouraged, as it's meant to engage more people, especially the youth, in coin collecting while gaining valuable experience and knowledge in the field of digital currencies. The coins were made by the Lithuanian Mint. The silver collector coins resemble a credit card, and as of July 23rd, 2020, the Bank of Lithuania had only issued 4,000 collector coins, making them a sought-after prize. Sales of the new currency are being limited at first to encourage uptake and, of course, trading. Okay, next we have an Eastern Caribbean island digital currency called Dcash, which I guess we could consider the very first digital currency or cryptocurrency that was launched because it's real, it can be used as a currency, it's not a collectible coin, and it covers 4 of the islands. So it's St. Lucia, Grenada, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, and Nevis, which these are all popular areas for second passports. These are very good passports, actually, if you're kind of looking into that, getting into that world of opening up options and becoming a nomad or an expat, then this is probably right up your alley. The one thing I noticed is that a lot of countries, because of what's happened with Corona, because of now what's happening with a lot of countries tightening up, is it's really opening up an opportunity for countries who are going to take aggressive action to make expat-friendly new services, to put themselves ahead of the curve by launching a central bank digital currency first to attract cryptocurrency enthusiasts, to attract expats, to attract people who aren't feeling like they're being treated well in their country currently. That seems to be the new game. The new game is which of these small countries that can bring in a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of new cash from overseas by creating specifically themed programs for them. This is very exciting, and I think overall this is a positive thing. Okay, back to the video. So Dcash was created by Barbados-based fintech company BIT in partnership with the central bank. Unlike cryptocurrencies, it is issued by an official central bank and has a fixed value tied to the existing Eastern Caribbean dollar used across much of the region. It is a milestone in the history of monetary instruments, said BIT CEO Brian Popleka during a press conference that he broadcast online recently. The system allows users, even without bank accounts, but with a smartphone, to use a downloaded app to make payments via a QR code. Those without bank accounts would go to a previously approved agent or non-banking financial institution who would verify a person's information, then approve a Dcash wallet. That person would then go to a supermarket or other store, give the cashier physical cash, which would then be deposited as digital currency in their wallet. And so this is very similar to what we see happening with just onboarding on and off cryptocurrency exchanges currently. You should be pretty familiar with that, with an entry-exit exchange. So very similar here. In addition, there are limits on the amount of money people can send via Dcash. There are no plans for now of integrating credit cards, and interest does not apply to the digital currency. It became available Wednesday, March 31st in a year-long pilot program in 4 island nations: St. Lucia, Grenada, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, and Nevis. Next, let's jump into some People's Bank of China digital yuan updates. I've got a few updates here for you. China aims to become the first major central bank to issue a CBDC. State banks are promoting the digital yuan ahead of the May 5th, 2021 shopping festival. This happened recently. People's Bank of China is aiming for increased domestic use of the digital yuan by the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. It's estimated that over 23 million US worth of the currency is currently in circulation. So $23 million worth of the digital yuan is currently being tested and piloted. Given the cutting-edge nature of this development, it's difficult to project how exactly the digital yuan will impact life in China, much less the global economy. But in terms of the former, digital payments have been commonplace in China for many years and are already mostly the norm. For example, it reported 98% of urban Chinese consumers use a digital wallet daily. In practice, that means when most Chinese citizens go to the coffee shop, they are using an app on their phone to pay their bill, typically with one of Tencent's projects, either WeChat Pay or Ant Group's Alipay. If one can believe it, even homeless people in China accept digital payments via those same platforms. And it's not unusual for that to occur. Digital payments are so entrenched that it's part of the normal everyday life. One big change with the digital yuan as compared to existing platforms is that the Chinese government will be able to monitor all transactions executed using the eCNY, as they're going to call it. The bigger ramifications here are, of course, cross-border trade and finance. We all know China has been working hard at securing new relationships for the Silk Road Initiative, dubbed China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, building relationships from Pakistan to Russia, and a long ball attempt to take over global commerce. Speaking of Russia, according to Russia's central bank governor, Elvira Nebulina, digital currencies will be the future of financial systems, especially considering the persistent risk of US sanctions. Moscow published a consultation paper on a digital ruble in October and aims to have a prototype ready by the end of 2021. Pilots and trials could start next year, Elvira said. Next, let's talk about the Bank of England and what they're brewing up to be called the Britcoin. British authorities are exploring the possibility of creating a new digital currency that UK Chancellor, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, indicated could be known as the Britcoin. They have essentially created a task force to start exploring the use of a CBDC. So what would be the difference between a Britcoin on your phone and the pounds in your pocket, you might ask? If you look at your banknotes, they're backed by gilts. Digital currency will also be backed by an instrument that will be held at a central bank, said Hayden Jones, senior blockchain market specialist at PwC UK. The difference is that with a note, with a physical €5 note, you can't do anything digitally with it. Digital version of sterling, because it's written in code, we can attach conditions to payments. I can send something to you, but I can make it conditional on you doing something for me, he explained. Lastly, a word from the Treasury Chief himself. Our vision is for a more open, greener, and more technologically advanced financial services sector, he told at a FinTech conference. And if we can capture the extraordinary potential of technology, we'll cement the UK's position as the world's preeminent financial center. As you can see here, a lot of countries are just jockeying to get position. It's not about being first because it looks like China's already locked that up, but it looks like a lot of these countries are simply just trying to get their seat at the table, so to say. Next up, we've got the Bank of Japan, BOJ, and there's some interesting things that have happened here. So initially they announced in October of 2020 that they were planning something around the spring of 2021 to actually have a CBDC ready to be tested. So here's that original announcement. While the Bank of Japan currently has no plans to issue a CBDC, from the viewpoint of ensuring the stability and efficiency of the overall payment and settlement systems, the bank considers it important to prepare thoroughly to respond to changes in circumstances in an appropriate manner, central bank said in a statement. What they're looking at is if the BOJ were to issue a CBDC, it'd be issued indirectly through intermediaries. There'd be universal access to avoid excluding some individuals, devices, or cards, enhanced security to prevent illicit activities, resilience to system and network failures, instant payment capabilities with settlement finally similar to cash, and an interoperability with other payment and settlement systems starting early fiscal year 2021. This was the original announcement, right? And here's the actual summary, if you wanted to go through it, announced from the Bank of Japan. It's pretty in-depth, but again, they're talking about April of 2021. What happened earlier, if we go the next step in the timeline, earlier this year, is now they had established a liaison and coordination committee on central bank digital currencies, which includes 30 different members, all of which are in this list: Japanese Bankers Association, Regional Bank Association of Japan, the Second Association of Regional Banks. I mean, obviously big players. We've got some API services in there. And so this was created earlier this year, okay, a couple months back. And now here we are in April, and it looks like we're on the brink of some sort of testing happening soon. So this is really exciting news. As I said, they're looking for some sort of initial phase 1 experiment to now be happening over the next couple months. This will be exciting to follow as this all continues to roll out. Next, I want to give you a couple of quick updates, and then we'll dive into some headlines. Sweden is kicking around the idea of a e-krona. They're looking to launch that in 2026. Obviously, if you live in the US or you follow cryptocurrency, you know that the Fed is looking to release a paper this summer for feedback, critiques from the public, essentially. Next, let's cover Facebook. There's been some big changes here. Originally launched in June of 2019 under the Libra project, they were going to take on the position of a global stablecoin. Well, that's kind of changed. Not only the name, like Carpe Diem sees the day, they renamed the project the Diem project. And apparently they're having some issues with licensing. Okay, they've abandoned the Swiss license application that they started and had been working on for quite a while, apparently, and they're going to reassess and re-gauge their interest towards the US. Another big update here, Facebook stablecoin project Diem has announced it will launch a US dollar-pegged stablecoin in the latest paring back of its international ambitions. The project, formerly known as Libra, had been envisioning a worldwide rollout for its stablecoin, which it planned to peg to a weighted basket of international currencies. If this sounds familiar, it's because the SDR, or Standard Drawing Rights basket, created by the IMF is very, very similar. However, its run-in with regulators worldwide has resulted in several significant changes in direction in recent months, with the recent announcement the culmination of its reshaped ambitions ahead of launch. The DM Association, which runs the project, said it was moving its headquarters from Switzerland to the US and will be withdrawing its application for a payment systems license from the Swiss financial authorities. I like how they were going for that because the Swiss is considered one of the top countries, I guess, to get some sort of licensing through. It's also one of the hardest, so very aggressive ambitions there. DM is now preparing to register as a money services business with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, a division of the U.S. Department of Treasury in the United States. According to DM, we are committed to a payment system that is safe for consumers and businesses, makes payments faster and cheaper. There's your update on Facebook. Next, we have Thailand's central bank taps German payments giant to design CBDC prototype. The hiring of a large international technology provider signals the bank is on schedule for launching its digital currency. So Thailand has thrown its hat in the game. Here's some updates on that. The Bank of Thailand chose G&D for the proof of concept for its retail CBDC project, according to procurement announcement on Sunday. The bank has allocated 10 million baht, or roughly $320,000 to the project, which includes taxes, transportation, registration fees, and other expenses. G&D generated revenue exceeding 2.3 billion euro in 2020. So that's exciting. That's very, very promising. Next up, we have Indonesia announced plans for central bank digital currency. The Bank of Indonesia has announced plans to issue a central bank digital currency, becoming the latest global central bank to indicate a move towards state-backed digital currencies. So nothing too specific, but they're looking to have a payment systems blueprint by 2025. And lastly, let's cover Africa, who may be at the forefront of all of this. So, titled How Africa Could Become a World Leader in Central Bank Digital Currencies. Obviously, we just talked about the update from Indonesia, from Thailand, but there are many others jockeying. In just the last 2 months, Norway, Japan, Indonesia, Sweden, and South Korea have announced digital currency trials. In Africa, the feasibility of technology is being explored by Ghana, Morocco, Egypt, Kenya, and South Africa. I like this play. Again, it's more of a move towards them trying to essentially get in front of and attract more money, more outside investors into their country, right? Dr. Kopir George, Associate Professor at University of Cape Town, UCT, South Africa, is an expert on central bank digital currencies. He says Africa should take the lead in disrupting the global financial services system through the instrument, as the continent has a significant remittance market and is primed for more fintech investment. That's actually a really great point. Another place that would be primed for this is the Middle East going into Asia section. They work off of the Hawala system, which is more of a trust-based system. It has its own remittance network. This also applies to a country like South Africa. All right, so just wrapping things up, as you can see, we've had huge headway on the CBDC front, and it looks like this is going to be the year that we get to see a more major bank launch there. All eyes are on China at this point, but even rolling into next year, we should start to see some significant progress moving forward there as well on both the Fed and US standpoint as well as China. So that's all I got for you in this video. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. Comment below if you want to help or you got something to say. And if you're brand new to the channel and you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Now, be on the lookout. More videos like this coming very soon, my friends. Bye.